Siege, not Patriots, but still Rainbow Six.
Yes.
Bit of a surprise. How's your E3 going?
The E3 is going super well so far. We've got an enormous reception for everybody. The comments are great, and the build we have playing downstairs is awesomely stable, so we're really happy with the results.
Okay, let's walk back in time here. Patriots is something we've been talking about for a while, and it just went silent. We thought you guys may be reconfiguring it, but it comes out entirely new. I mean, what happened there?
Well, basically, we had Patriots game. We were in the works, and we tried to make it work well, but we weren't super satisfied with the results. We didn't feel it was up to par with what we wanted as a game company and what the players expected and deserved as players. And at one point, we had to make the choice, like, is it going to work, or do we need to make a hard decision? And the decision was, let's start over fresh. Let's focus on next generation consoles, and let's see what it is that we can bring together to make a Rainbow Six, the next Rainbow Six game, really awesome. And this is how we got to the Siege gameplay and all the destruction you saw in the video. This is all what came out of that process.
Well, sort of talk us through what's being shown downstairs. So we saw the presentation that ended Ubisoft's conference. What were people seeing on the show floor here?
Well, essentially at the Ubisoft conference, people got to see the 5 vs 5 game that we are showing, the multiplayer gameplay of Rescue Hostage. And what the people are seeing in the booth is essentially the same game mode, but in the presentation it was seen as the attacker's point of view. Downstairs, what the reporters can see is the full match of consecutive rounds, and in each round the players get to play each role, so they alternate, and the demoists can show that, and after that the reporters can actually play it, so it's a playable demo. And the video at the E3 conference was shot in-game with our engine, so it's pretty much the same thing we can see in both.
Most modern gamers remember Rainbow Six traveling to Las Vegas, but this returns way back to this. This feels more like old school Rainbow Six, the classic Rainbow Six. Was that a decision when you decided to restart again? Did you look back to that for inspiration and you thought, yeah, this will work this time?
Well, the process was, and what is Rainbow Six, and what it is that defines that tactical first-person genre, and our creative director, Xavier Marquis, decided, well, we have to put together a gameplay that really encompasses the whole game of Rainbow Six. And with we've had been working on technology for destruction for a while, and we knew we had something good in our hands. And what he decided to do was combine all of these so that we can really have a gameplay that completely defines and encapsulates what Rainbow Six is.
And the sort of planning stage that we saw during that presentation, that's the idea that basically you get an overview, you have just before the round starts, a quick chance to check out the situation, where everyone's out, and basically roll from there.
Yeah, so the gameplay is asymmetrical. So you have two teams, and both teams have different roles. So you're right, on the attacking team there's an observation phase, because it's important to observe and find what the tactics are going to be for the attack. And basically the goal is to find the weakest point in the defense and find where is going to be the entry points in the game. There's always kind of a notion of a breach in Rainbow Six that has always been there, but generally limited to some limited walls and some doors. Now in Rainbow Six Siege, with full procedural destruction, what we have is you can pretty much breach anywhere. You can breach a floor if you want to get to a room that's below you. You can breach a wall. You can breach the barricades that the defenders has put on. And all of this allows the players to have very, very different games, even if they play the same map all over again. They have different scenarios that play out, and it's really awesome. Now the defenders on their side, their role is completely the opposite. They need to prevent destruction, so they're fortifying the area. They want to make a stronghold out of their location they're at. And so they have tools to barricade the windows, they can reinforce walls, they can put some traps and some barbed wires, anything that's going to prevent the progress of the attackers.
Okay. With that, was that a bit of a headache working out the destruction? Because like you said, that effectively you can go where you want now. I mean, you have to have, I guess, some sort of limitation on that. So how you guys sort of balance that?
Oh, this is it's an awesomely complex problem. We think it has opened up so many doors, and not only in terms of gameplay, but in terms of complexity in production. First of all, of course, the technology is very, very high tech. It only runs on next-gen platforms, of course, and this is why we made the full-on Switch for one. Secondly, contrary to all of the other games everybody has been doing in the past, if you model a house, for instance, and you do the walls, there's no need to do inside the walls. I mean, nobody's going to ever see them. But now with Rainbow Six Siege, we have people who actually have to model the wires and the pipes and the wooden beams inside the walls, because once you shoot through a wall, if there's a wooden beam, it has to explode like wood, and there's going to be splinters everywhere. But that needs to be there. So we have a full-on house that has all the structural elements of a real house, even if it's a video game. In terms of production, this is it's very big. It changes a lot of the ways we work, and in terms of gameplay, as I said, it changes so many things.
So basically, you guys can actually go on and just be architects now and electricians. You know how to do this, and you know how to build a house inside out.
Well, it's awesome because we have meetings in which you can say, oh, well, how are we going to do the gyps walls? Because this is harder. It's not the same as a wooden wall. Let's get the bricks. And so it has some weird meetings. But in the end, yeah, we end up being pretty knowledgeable about all the elements that go into building a house.
So we've seen this slice of gameplay. Is there a single-player campaign in the game? I mean, how does this all work? How do all the modes work?
Well, it's a good question. We obviously decided to show the multiplayer aspect this year, and we focus a lot on that. So it's a multiplayer 5 versus 5, and there's going to be a lot of that. Different game modes, different situations, not only hostages. And as well, we definitely are going to be working on some single-player aspects and some co-op aspects. Me being a team lead for the AI team, obviously I have a vested interest in all of that aspect of the game. And yes, we are going to have a lot of that. Rainbow Six fans are going to be at ease, and they're going to feel at home in the game we're going to show, but yet it's still going to be different and new. But we're not saying anything yet. Keeping our cards close.
Oh, obviously enough. It is very much focused on having a very team-based gameplay and knowing your team and knowing your guys. Just out of interest, I mean, it might be too early to talk about this, but are you looking at any sort of like offline training regimes? Like I could go in and play with bots just to sort of learn the ins and outs of, say, a particular situation or a particular location?
Well, this is also something we're not going too much into. At the same time, one main focus we have in the production is to have the whole game as a coherent product. It's not only like some games we have a single player campaign and the multiplayer, and it's kind of completely different games. No, this is Rainbow Six Siege, and it has to feel whole. And we are going to have ways for players to get in the game and feel that whatever they're playing, it has a different feeling to it, but it's the same game. So they're going to have ways, of course, to get used to the game and play it, but we're not saying much now.
Can you sort of touch upon, I mean, we saw a variety of weapons being used, not just basically boarding up the house and everything like that, but shotguns and pistols. Can you sort of touch upon those? I mean, what we seeing? What choices have you got?
Well, what I can say, we're also, it's a very early stage, and we're still way before alpha, so there's no real. We're not talking too much about that either, so you'll find me boring in these questions. There's definitely going to be emphasis on the fact that we have different roles. It's a completely asymmetric gameplay, and because of that, we have different ways of playing the game. If you're attacker, defender, and there's going to be some variety there, as well. People expect some level of customization, progression, and all that, and there will definitely be some aspect of that. But the way we're going to do it, I think, is going to be interesting. But we're not, talking any about it. But we're keeping some good news for later as well.
Well, how long have you been working on the Siege version of Rainbow Six then? I mean, when did you guys actually start this whole thing?
We started the project in January 2013, so it's about 18 months ago.
And what's the roadmap now? Obviously, you're coming off this, few days of this, but when you come back to the offices, what's the sort of roadmap for the next 2-3 months? Have you got sort of definite plans in place?
Well, 2-3 months is going to be a lot of production milestones, internal validation steps, essentially. So we're really gearing up to get a full production on and really working on the global aspect of the game and how we're going to ship the whole game. But this is all, at the same time confidential and boring. But we're definitely going to be on the shelves in 2015, PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Excellent. Okay. And how do you feel tackling all those multiplayer competition, all the other games coming out there? You feel confident enough? All good? No pressure?
Well, yeah, a whole lot of pressure, but at the same time, I really feel we have a very specific and unique gameplay, and I really believe that the players have a kind of a thirst for that kind of a gameplay. The reception we've had at the booth since the beginning of E3 and even before with the conference, it was awesome, and people are saying, yeah, this is awesome. So I'm confident. I think there's a room for us at the top of that food chain, and I don't see it as a real competition between all of the other titles. There's awesome titles. I'm a big fan of Battlefield, for instance, but I mean, we're all brothers in there, and I think there's a good spot for us up there as well.
Listen, thank you very much indeed for taking the time, and best luck with the rest of the project.
Thank you very much. Have a good E3.
Keep it moving. Shit, I'm dead. Window upstairs, go. Whoa, wait, she's down. I have to revive her. Cover me.
I got you. Get out of here.
All right.
I'm serious. I'm being lit up here, Lynch. Shit. You got me.
All right, I got the window.
Go.